It brings us to Alan Hahn's Knicks Fix. He joins us in the Squarespace studio. Al Trautwig back on the Chase Bridge. So, Alan, the Knicks have had problems in the first, the second, the third quarter. You can sometimes overcome that, but you've got to figure out a way to solve the fourth quarter, don't you?
Yeah, that's one of the problems. But David Fizdale talked about during this 5-game losing streak how it's really been just one quarter in each game where as he said, the doors get blown off. Now, when you're giving up 30 points in each quarter per game over this span, it's hard to pinpoint, but we definitely did in each one of these games. You can see where the trouble starts. It's not always the fourth quarter, but we begin at Toronto. After the Knicks had tied the Raptors after the first quarter at 25, they were up 36-35 actually in that second quarter, but then the doors, as David Fizdale says, blew off at that point, outscored 39-28. We move on now to Orlando. This first quarter, this was a back-to-back 30-10. So that game started off poorly. The Knicks just were sluggish, and they could not make it back from that. Now on the road trip, Oklahoma City. This is the first quarter again, giving up a lot of points. 37 points as Paul George attacked Tim Hardaway Jr., and the Knicks had to chase the rest of the game. We're in New Orleans now. Here's where the fourth quarter was the issue. 41-28. They were up by 11 with 7 minutes to go, but the Pelicans took over as Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis were unstoppable, and that was the message that David Fizdale had of win or suffer. Then back to Orlando we go. First quarter again against the Magic, 44-31. Of course, Aaron Gordon in that game saw a rookie, Kevin Knox, against him, got him in foul trouble for 20 of his 31 in that first quarter. And once again, the Knicks were chasing. So one quarter in each for sure, but fourth quarters have been a big part of the issue as well.
Okay, now tonight's Portland Trailblazers, the opponent, their owner recently passed away, Paul Allen, and there's a lot swirling around this team and the future of Damian Lillard. It's hard to predict, but it does feel like this is going to be an era of big changes in Portland. Something
definitely to keep an eye on. Now, of course, the passing of Paul Allen was mourned around the NBA and NFL as well. He does own the Seattle Seahawks, and there's already reports of the Seahawks being for sale. And then the report is that the Trailblazers would be up probably in about 18 to 36 months as well. He has no one to leave these teams to, so they're going to be sold. Now, with that, of course, is the future of Damian Lillard, as you mentioned, because back in January, Lillard met with Paul Allen to talk about the future of the franchise and how they would build a championship team. Now, they came out of that with an understanding that they still wanted to build forward. But, however, Bleacher Report had a report recently that said there was a pact between Allen and Lillard that if he wanted to trade, he could be moved to a team of his choice. Now, Lillard's on the contract for 2 more years after this year, and he'll make upwards of $30 million a year. Now, he's one of the top guards in the game, so there's a lot of people that would certainly love to have him. But before we start dreaming up trade scenarios, Lillard was asked the other night if this trade pact was indeed true, and his response was, quote, false. But I still say, in my opinion, this is a situation certainly to keep an eye on.
Which leads us to the stat of the night.
Stat of the night, well, the Knicks are giving up 114.7 points per game this season, which is the 6th highest in the NBA, which is surprising that there's 5 teams that actually are giving up more than that. But it's the most so far they've allowed giving up in a season since 1979-80, where that team gave up 115.1 points per game. The one common thread between these two teams, well, that was the previous youngest roster in NBA history. So it shows you with young teams, defense is a bit of a struggle.
Who's your special guest at halftime?
I'm really fired up for this, Al. I'm very excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. Speaking with Eric B. and Rakim, hip-hop legends, at halftime. We're going to talk about their new box set. It's called The Complete Collection. That is about, of course, all the great music that they made. And it's the 30th anniversary of Paid in Full, one of the great rap albums in history.
We'll see you then.